Welcome to the Shakti series at the Coffee Corner Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum, TEIF, and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is the business of entertainment, the heart of journalism. We have with us Prasannata Patwa, independent reporter, journalist. Known for decoding India's buzzing entertainment industry, the creator economy, and digital first brands. Prasannata's storytelling blends research, nuance, and realness. From shaping newsletters that cut through the noise to breaking stories that shape industries, she brings a unique voice to modern journalism. Prasannata has graced global giants like The Guardian, The Hollywood Reporter India, Forbes India, Livemint, and now, presently, she is a lead independent reporter journalist. So, today we explore the woman behind the bylines, her journey, inspirations, and the many roles she balances with grace and a personal journey. So, welcome Prasannata to today's coffee conversation.
Hi.
So, friends, let me explain you Prasannata first. Okay, there are three rounds: the professional journey round, the personal journey round, and we have the fun round, the rapid fire round, for which you have to be witty, fun, and quick, and you'll get a gift also. So this is niche marketing. So it has already been autographed, but you have to be witty, fun, and quick, and you have to crack it. So I know you will do that. So friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation and Legal Tech Evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. So we are at AWFI's co-working, and on a beautiful Saturday, we have this coffee conversation, and let's begin the professional journey round. So my first question, Prasannata, how has the journey shaped up, and what are the key defining moments you had?
I think my journey has shaped up pretty well, and there are way too many key defining moments.
So Prasannata, how do you pick the trends or sectors worth writing about in such a fast-paced content ecosystem?
Um, I have been reading quite a bit. I not have been. I've always been a reader. So I think the best way to be able to be on top of everything is to try to read more and as much as possible. The wider your breadth is and also depth is, the more things will start making sense to you. You'll be able to connect the dots. By that, I mean, if you are particularly curious about a sector, and if you keep reading, let's say, about politics, and if you are curious about, I don't know, maybe science, you will see how the you will see the linkages between the two sectors and many more other, if you keep reading and keep exploring. So I know it's hard, but I think reading is a habit that can be developed, so it's not impossible. So and also I think an important thing to keep doing is following your curiosity. So yeah.
Wow. So let's dive deep in conversation. You have written across platforms like The Guardian, Hollywood Reporter, Livemint. So how do you tailor your writing voice to match diverse audiences?
So I have always wanted to, when I entered this profession, I was very curious, and I continue to be very curious. And so, apart from being curious about the sectors like we call beats, I was also curious about the different forms of journalism. Um, in the written space, which is your digital newspaper, magazine. I have been extremely curious. After I started with a newspaper, I became very curious about how the digital ecosystem pans out and how these, subscription based companies work. The independent was a very big example, and in India there were a few firms who were doing that. So while working across the companies that I was working, I learned how to approach an audience, because everywhere in most newsrooms the conversation would be that we are writing for a certain kind of an audience. Every publication thinks that way, right? Because what is your readership and who are you catering to? So while working through different mediums, I learned how different audiences react, and that's how, I'm able to pick out topics and pitches, and the way I do my pitches is according to what an organization is looking for, and that you come to know when you keep following their work, you keep reading what they are publishing or whatever videos they are making, so you understand their style as well. It's all very subconscious, but yeah. So by to summarize everything, by working in different mediums, and also um, thinking about how every organization perceives their audience, I was able to um, tailor my stories throughout, and then that is what I sort of replicate in my independent sphere as well.
That's good. So, Prasanna, how do you pick the trends or sectors worth writing about in such a fast-paced content ecosystem?
Mm, yeah, so when you read a lot, and also fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, for me, I never was um, in one beat. So I started off with writing about the startup ecosystem, but then later on, I was also writing about retail and FMCG companies. Then after a point, I was writing about startups and how the legacy companies are merging together and sort of following each other's playbooks, because COVID was happening, and all the legacy players were trying to figure out how do we replicate the online model. And as soon as, or while COVID was ending, the consumer startups were figuring out how to replicate a legacy brands model. So, like, for example, um, all the like how we call them D2C brands. They're more like digital first, so that's the channel they start off with. So they wanted to replicate the legacy players like HUL, and how they enter in, or how they've set up the offline business model that they completely have. So that was an interesting time. And then slowly and steadily, while covering startups itself, I used to write about entertainment tech companies. And so it connected to the streaming ecosystem, because platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hotstar, etc., etc., uh, are working with many young professionals as well as your experienced professionals, and then everything then comes down to the film ecosystem, because that's where the development of content majorly happens in India and translates to a bunch of other mediums.
Wow. As someone deeply immersed now, you have been more focused for the entertainment and creator economy. Where do you see India's OTT and content landscape heading?
I think it would be hard to crystal ball or give any kind of future predictions about the streaming digital ecosystem and the content creator ecosystem, because they are fairly new industries in India. Um, Streaming platforms are less than 15 years old. Um, Content creator economy only boomed during COVID, which was 2020 or 21, 22. Similarly, our digital landscape is also in a very evolutionary, not has reached some scale and maturity, but not as much as like the film ecosystem. So if you want to know more about film ecosystem, that I can uh, talk for days. So maybe you can follow my stories. That would be an easier way to keep a tab on what's happening. But yes, for the film ecosystem, I think there is room for a lot of uh, development that can happen, and a very exciting time because of the technology and how it's developing and how it is merging with the entertainment ecosystem, like AI, in video, audio, and also your movie making. So that can tweak business models, and already is tweaking business models pretty drastically. Definitely in the West, I'm sure filmmakers in India are also trying. So I'll stop now because I can talk a lot about this. So yeah.
Yeah, so we can have a fireside chat. But this is Main Coffee, where we cover a professional journey with a personal journey. So the speakers get into reflection mode, and fireside and panel discussions are more on the subject topics where they share their expertise, yeah, their knowledge, where they have gained over the years. Okay, as you brought about good topic of AI, uh, which is sometime back I was listening to Reach Up Into, where she had come at Cafe at YSB, and there was this one of that question was on AI, on content writing in journalism. So,
Right.
what is your take on AI? How is it affecting in, especially I'm dividing in two parts: content writing using AI in the Indian context, and uh, the content right. How is it like in the international market? So, how the two markets, journalists are taking to AI, uh, Indian journalist versus the international journalist? What are their views for using AI, or should AI be used for creating? Because content writing is what do you say, an art and a science where research work has to go on. And Richa shared something by uh, because she does field journalism and other things. She said, but the topic can be used for a reference point. But other things, it is the individuality which comes in.
Right.
So, what is your say?
I think, firstly, if you talk about content writing and journalistic writing, there are two very different things. Uh, Content can be about anything, right? I mean, I can uh, create a website and start writing, let's say, about like listicles. That is content. I can I can write an essay, based on my own imagination, or whatever I think. It's opinion. That's also a lot of the times content. But why journalistic writing is different is because, like, you are talking to me, right? Similarly, I when like, journalists want to explore a topic, journalists explore a topic, they obviously research about it how much ever they can, from your resources that are already available, like reports and journals and so on, and of course experts who work in the industry, right? I can only speak for business journalism because that is what I am well aware of. uh, yeah, that's how you form your thesis. But what you're talking about, Richa, saying that the individuality, because in any topic that you cover in today's time, there are startup reporters everywhere, right? So everybody wants to write about tech because it's the biggest ecosystem, affects all of us. So but a different a journalist, that person brings is not just analysis and understanding of the industry, but also what the industry is going through at that particular point. So you can approach things from your angle. That is what the individuality factor is. Like, for example, when I started thinking about entertainment, I was think I was covering startups, but entertainment seemed at the end of the day a business, right? So the movies or the music that is being made is for profit. It's not for profit. So when it's for profit, then numbers are involved, and at that time, even now, I feel that there's very limited reporting that happens in terms of business journalism. So that is the angle that I brought. So in every sector, the kind of individual you are or the thought process you have, you can bring that angle to that particular sector, and that's what an AI cannot do. So that's
I
what
know.
a machine can't do, and you can learn how to use the machine, right? Tomorrow it will be beneficial to you if you can use whatever these new chatbots are coming out, not to help you write but to help you research. If you can you bring that to your favor, then I think that's gonna make you an asset for sure. So to work with technology, not think of it as a cannibalization. Nobody is Technology cannot take humans away, unless of course we don't get smarter than how fast the technology is evolving. Yeah.
Technology being made by humans. So human.
Yeah, exactly. It is
So who is?
human made, and our brains are
Yeah.
much more different. It was in a billion years for, you
Hmm.
know, development. So our brains are obviously very different from any other species or computers in the world. So we just have to keep updating it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Because AI can't emote, can't add emotions in the right way.
I think that's the thing, right? In maybe at some point that AI could get that smart that it is able to, add depth to writing, and it could, be able to, because how the LLM models work is that it keeps learning from different models itself, right? That are fed into it. So it constantly learns and relearns and again. But it will never be able to, let's say, when I watched a movie, uh, Superboys of Maligaon or something, at one point I was thinking, okay, so this movie is made about this small village where they are doing filmmaking. Okay, interesting. So uh, but why is this movie not releasing in towns like Malegaon? Because
Acha,
because
okay.
because
Mhm.
I have family, my extended families, they don't live all in Bombay, and they live in some other parts of India and smaller cities, not metro cities. And they asked me, okay, we haven't even heard of this film, and it's not in our nearest theater because, well,
Hmm.
theaters are going down. So
Yeah.
so yeah, then my perspective goes there. But this is what an AI can never tell me how to do, right? An AI
Yeah.
can never tell me think about if this movie is releasing in Malega or not, right? So that's how I would put it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you see about my next question will be, since we are talking about
Hmm.
AI, the
Hmm.
plagiarism. Uh,
Plagiarism, that the P word is very forbidden in journalism. So
I know,
yeah,
because the young, mm,
completely forbidden. We are not
I
allowed
know.
to use it.
Yeah, because now see, AI is has what do you say,
Yeah.
information feed it in, and it is
Yeah.
creating. Oh, sorry, doing its background
Sure.
research and picking up.
Sure.
You must. There are a lot of apna, cases also coming up for the copyrights.
Mm-hmm.
So how can uh, a journalist,
Hmm.
a writer or author
Hmm.
protect against this AI things or the copyright thing?
See, it's right now there is a lawsuit, actually multiple lawsuits going on against OpenAI, Microsoft, and the big giants who are in the AI race, right? So I think it's too early to say about copyrights and those kind of decisions, because there are many ways it can be perceived. Currently, there are not too many rules and regulations. So, what may work out in the States might not work out in India. And India has firstly a long way to go
Yeah.
in terms of, developing the kind of journalists and writers who can, or whose work might be at the risk of plagiarism. I don't mean it, I mean it in a very practical way, because that's what I notice around me. And also there are, firstly, there are many ways to protect. I don't know if there are ways to protect yourself from this at the moment. um, but yeah, I think first become that big. I don't know, as of now we're not, I am not that big to have that kind of understanding. But that is a later thing to worry of. Right now you should focus on writing well enough and
Mm.
getting your content, or whatever you're trying to create, on a level where it has the opportunity of getting plagiarized, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, let's go memory down the lane. What's a story or article that you have written that felt personal or transformative to you?
I don't know about transformative, but definitely personal was the story I wrote for The Guardian, about Dharamshala. Tourism increase has not exactly, uh, uh, I would say it's taken away a little bit of peace from there, in especially in tourist season. And and the way it links to climate change was very interesting to me, and also felt again very personal, because I was one of the people who went to Dharamshala in 2024 seeking refuge from the heat in Bombay. And I grew up in Bombay. I'm from Bombay, mostly, I think. Yeah. So I grew up in Bombay, and I had never seen a heat like this, and I wanted a refuge, and I went to Dharamshala to get that refuge. But I realized over there a lot of people had the same idea, so it was really packed. The small hill station felt like not less than a city. So many cars, so many people. Yes, the weather was a little better, but of course, heat waves was everywhere. So yeah, it was hotter over there, and I think that story really came out of my angst. I think a little bit of how how terrible situation can be at times in these hill stations. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, Prasannata,
Mm-hmm.
what made you start Overshoot weekly newsletter, and how did you curate content for it, and what impact did it make?
I don't know about impact yet. We are very young. The idea was really sort of pushed on to me by my then boyfriend, uh, because I was just in this phase that I still wanted to stay in journalism, and I still wanted to continue writing, but I was also not Uh, able to find that excitement as what to do
Mm.
now, because it does set in. I mean, I am very young and there's so many things I still have to explore. But yeah, I was kind of looking for a project to work on, and he mentioned to me that because of course we would talk a lot about how the industries function, and at that time I was not really writing about entertainment or business of entertainment or anything. I was purely a startup tech, your typical business beats kind of a reporter. And so he just said, all the things that you tell me about films and the music industry and how it works, I don't really read about it, especially from an India context. So why don't you set up a newsletter that might that every week or something you can write. and and by that time I had already also learned the medium, that is newsletter. It was sort of a self learning kind of a thing. I had joined a course during COVID. It was a free course by I think by the, I can share the link with you later. You can put it in your show
Yeah, yeah,
notes or
sure, sure,
something.
sure.
But yeah, it's like it was a free course organized by this journalism body or something.
Ah,
So they really went into the depths of how to write a newsletter, how to
ah,
publicize it, how to market it, how can you grow it. And this was in 2021. Again, COVID lockdown. We were all stuck trying to
yeah.
upgrade ourselves, I guess. So yeah, I'd already learned how to write the newsletter. So yeah, I started writing, and it is, yeah, it's still a journey. I think it's a process. Yeah.
Wow. So, can you tell us about the story about naming of Overshoot and what is this newsletter all about?
Yeah, that also again was a discussion between me and my boyfriend at the time. That we were talking about how India as a country is on this cusp that everybody keeps talking about, right? That we are the only, the youngest population in the world right now, and how there is so much potential for a lot of industries to like really overshoot. So we thought that the whole eco and entertainment landscape, which is not just your films anymore, which is music, which is live events, which is video games, all kinds of online gaming, digital social media platforms, they are all at a point where they can really overshoot the kind of growth anybody is thinking. We can't predict its growth at the moment. So that's what the title really means. Yeah.
Okay. So, Prasannata, do you feel pressurized by the metrics, the virality metrics? And how do you stay rooted in authenticity?
I don't think I am that big yet to worry about virality metrics or anything. So I don't have to worry about it. That's a good thing. So I just uh, try to write about things that I feel I'm very curious about, and I think more people will also be curious about. Yeah.
So, can you share something? What is this virality metrics for our viewers out there, and all those uh,
I
young
don't.
professionals who will be entering the field of journalism to get acquainted with this word?
I think more importantly, instead of worrying about becoming popular, they should be worried about trying to sustain in this profession in the first place. They should be able to. They should really be. If someone is, genuinely serious about becoming a journalist, I entered this profession as a complete fluke. It was not planned at all, but I somehow really liked it, and the kind of knowledge and the kind of perspective it gives me at a lot of points. But that is also because I was very very fortunate to work with some very smart, driven, and professional editors and journalists in the start of my career. So, I think, but at the end of the day, it's a very self-driven profession. Nobody is asking me to. Especially now that I'm independent, nobody is really asking me to talk to a, I don't know, filmmaker sitting in somewhere in a village in Maharashtra and ask him कि तुम्हारे लिए फिल्म बनाने का एक्सपीरियंस क्या है, या nobody is asking me to go and talk to a CEO when I'm only like so young. The CEOs are more than 50, and I have to ask them interesting question. Nobody's asking me to. It's just that it's a profession that pays you if you're curious. That's one. But at the same time, it's also like any kind of art form, any kind of craft that requires you to want to also learn. I mean, if you really are serious about becoming a good journalist, uh, then yes, get the basics right. If like when you pitch a story, even as an intern or whatever fresher level you are at, you should always check a basic Google check that has this topic been covered before by any other publication, has a video like this been made, if you're in the video format or whatever it is. And if the topic has been covered, that's fine. Can you find an angle to it? Can you come with a different approach to it? And if so, then yes, of course, talk to your editors. I would suggest be more open when you are actually meeting people initially. Focus on source building, which also means that don't take sources as just like a way of information. Yes, that is the point, but at the same time, they're also people, right? You're dealing with another human being. So go with a certain kind of curiosity, like if in my first year of my work, I think whenever I would meet someone for understanding the startup ecosystem, I would ask any and every question, because I was definitely new, I did not know. So that is the only way that you can learn. Listen to your editor's feedbacks, especially especially if you are, like they know ways in which something can be reached out to, or how can you make a story better. So yeah, these basics should be in place.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Prasannata, you've worked in newsroom environments and in hybrid freelance setups.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What's the difference in the work?
As in, what my work is, that remains the same day in and day out. I used to, as a reporter, my role has always been to focus on my sector and go meet people, understand what's the latest trends, what's happening, come back, file a pitch, and get a story out. That's still the process. But the difference is that, as an independent reporter, like I said, nobody's asking me to do anything. That also means that nobody is telling me that if this topic is interesting enough or not, or is it something that you should be chasing, because an editor who understands the ecosystem that you're covering, they always know that, okay, this is the topic you shouldn't be chasing, or this is something that the audience would not be interested in, etc., etc. So yeah, that I have to do a lot of figuring out by myself. So it's a lot of independence, but at the same time, I think for me right now it is ideal. Yeah, I think this is where I was supposed to reach at some point.
That's beautiful. So, Prasannata, who has inspired you from the world of journalism, especially the journalists and editors?
I I think I can't say it's one person, because it's really, like I said, it's many people whom I
Right.
met initially. So it's like a really a summation of all their work ethic, um, their depth of knowledge, and just rigor to kind of do this day in and day out. And many of them are, of course, very passionate people about the profession. Like I said, it's a craft. So people who are very good at their craft, how did they get so good at it, right? So that's also something to always learn and look forward to.
Wow. So, from a reporter to an independent journalist today, what has this transition taught you about storytelling and self reliance?
Uh, I think storytelling, that there is a lot to talk about. There are many, many topics that one can cover. The landscape is obviously very huge now. Um, uh, so the better thing would be to kind of the better thing would be to kind of like, for me, it is a struggle to kind of bring my focus back to what I intend to write about. And self-reliance is again a process. It took a long time to kind of just be okay with just learning through your mistakes. Yeah.
So, what's that one piece you want to write about, uh, which will which will be very transformative, and people will look forward to your article in the near future, and that will be a reference point.
I mean, I think, see, I think I'm very young, really. There are so many, at least there are many senior journalists that I personally follow and whose work I follow in the Indian ecosystem, who write on the business of entertainment, right? I think what I can hope that people understand more is that, i- i- is that how there is no, how the business of entertainment function, because even today everybody watches a film, everybody listens to music, but they still don't understand that. So if my stories can bring that understanding, I think uh, that would be what my I think that is what my goal is. Yeah.
Wow. So my last question for your professional journey round: what's one myth about business journalism or content reporting you wish people would stop believing?
That I just sit in my study every day, read a bunch of stuff, and just write whatever comes to my mind. Yeah.
So let's go to the next round and understand Prasannata as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
I grew up in Bombay. We moved here when I was 4. Um, I have 3 sisters. We are 4 sisters together, and my parents. And it was a pretty nice, happy childhood. My parents have always been very supportive of whatever all 4 of us wanted to do. They're very open people as such, and whatever it was that I wanted to chase or I was enthusiastic about, genuinely enthusiastic about, that is, they've always supported in whatever way they possibly can.
Wow. So let's go to your college, Asian College of Journalism. Uh, so, what are the memories and how did it help in shaping your journalistic career?
Oh wow! I think that 10 months to a year in Chennai was very interesting. There are too many memories, but I think one thing that always sticks out to me even today is that just how diverse that campus is, and in like less than a year, you make friends and you meet people from, like, we had 2 students from Afghanistan and couple of students from Nepal. And as a 21-year-old who had just mostly lived in Bombay and grown up in Bombay, it was quite a bit of a bubble buster for me, because before that I was in a complete bubble of, just how Bombay is and just how the city is. But yeah, going to Chennai and seeing how a metro city can be different in its
Yeah,
culture,
yeah.
and also the people and how they see the world, right? Like, our class was just 19 students, but everybody was from all kinds of streams. We had someone from philosophy, sociology, then also someone who was a trader and left his job and came to study this, Bloomberg course in business journalism and all of that. So I would say it's a good place to have your bearings as a journalist before you enter the job world, if you have enough money to kind of, not expect too many returns. Like, it is a bit of an expensive course, I would say.
Oh,
But yeah, the experience it gives you is important as a newly grad who doesn't know much about the world, to broaden your horizons. I still miss their library. So yeah.
wow. Okay. So, Prasannata, what's your go to way to unwind when you are off the clock?
Oh, I just sit in my living room and watch a lot of Gilmore Girls. Yeah, that's what I do.
Wow. Okay. So, what's a hobby or creative pursuit that helps you energized?
I know this is going to sound like um, just like, I think physical movement, of course. I've always been a very active person. But that's why I couldn't study when I was younger, because I couldn't sit too long in one place. So yes, any kind of physical activity, if it's like a hiking or going for a run, or, I mean, I'm not much of a runner, but I like going for it. Feels good. Then yeah, then just reading. I love reading. That was not always the case, but yes, now I do. Yeah.
So, what's that book which has shaped your personality?
Oh, I don't think there is any one book. Yeah, there is no one book.
Or which book are you reading right now?
Oh, currently I'm trying to actually improve on my mother tongue, Hindi, which has completely gone for a toss in the last few years, because I write in English, I read
Oh,
in English, I think in English. The only time I talk in Hindi is with my family at home. So, and they have started complaining. They have been complaining that you don't talk in your mother tongue anymore. So I am reading this book called Chakka Jam at the moment. In Hindi, it's actually quite interesting. You should check it out. And it's a new book.
What is it about? Please tell.
It's about this story of a young man, maybe in his early 20s, in post-independence India, set in between Patna, Calcutta, and couple of small villages in these two states. Yeah.
Wow. So, what's your favorite corner or cafe in Mumbai for which helps you in your writing process?
My living room. That's it. My living room.
Wow. So, Prasannata, what role do friendships play in keeping you grounded in such a fast moving industry?
I think it helps that a lot of my friends are also journalists. so, so we we catch up whenever we have the time to breathe. Most of them are still in full-time jobs, so
Oh.
yeah. So not everybody is independent like me. They don't have all the control over their time. So whenever we have the time to meet, just meet and try not to talk about all the gloomy and doomy stuff in this world. Yes, that's the goal when we're chilling out. Yeah.
Okay. So, what's a fun fact about you that your friends or your colleagues don't know about you?
Me, I no, I think that at heart I am. Uh, I think I think I am always quite active. I really like talking to people most of the time. That's why it works for me in this profession because my job is to keep talking and listening. So like listening and talking. But I think what mm, I, many might not know is that I really like the quiet times also, like a lot. I like to be left alone a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Suppose, Prasannata, you had 1 week away
Hmm.
from the tech
Hmm.
in writing.
Hmm.
What do you like to do and why?
I just go to Dharamshala and
Again?
yeah, I just go and just book a room in whatever hostel or a bunk bed or something somewhere, decent place, and just sleep. Take a walk in the morning and then sleep. That's what I'll do.
Wow.
And eat nice Tibetan food. Yeah.
So, who's your biggest cheerleader from your family and friends?
I would say my boyfriend, who's now my husband. So he's, yeah, he's the biggest of them all. Like my family is always very supportive. But yeah, he's like day to day also very supportive. Yeah.
Okay. Since this is Sri Shakti series, what does Sri Shakti mean to you?
I think uh, all the Stree Shakti, of course, is women and their power. So I think women are just in general very uh, have a lot of inner strength and power, and it's been proven time and again historically, BC, AD, whatever you want to choose, and that's always going to be the case. It's just that when you realize and how much you want to harness it, that's on the woman. Yeah.
Wow. So, what are your plans for 2025 personally and professionally?
I think personally the plan is to just like kind of try to stay in one place, not keep moving around. How much I like to keep moving around, stay in one place for longer. um, Try to grow my plants and my garden, and professional plans is just to become more rigorous with my work because I'm still learning a lot about this independent working life. It's quite different from my full time job. So there's always a lot to learn, a lot to keep up with.
Yes.
So yeah, the goal is to just get more efficient at my processes that I have. Yeah.
Wow. So my last one is a googly one. Describe Prasannata in one line.
Go getter.
Wow. So let's have some fun. The rapid fire round. Your go-to comfort food.
Go to comfort food is South Indian. Anything South Indian, idli with some thatte, puri, and all of that. Amazing.
Your favorite color.
Blue. I don't have one, but if I had to choose blue,
Wow. Byline or behind the scenes work.
yeah, behind the scenes, research is fun for me.
Wow.
Byline is okay. It will happen. If the research is good, byline will happen.
Long form journalism or sharp newsletters.
I think long form always. Long form is fun. More fun for me.
One word to describe your writing style.
Layman language, like सबको समझ में आना चाहिए.
Hindi.
Whatever it is.
Wow. So your family will like it.
Hopefully.
Finally.
Hopefully.
हिंदी में बात कर रही है.
It's okay.
A journalist or creator who inspires you.
I think what this current writer who used to be a journalist but now is in a very interesting space, Samarth Bansal. I like what he's doing. He's working as a marketing product sort of person. Then he's also creating his own platform. Very interesting. I also like some international journalists and their work. Anne Steele, who writes for WSJ, she's really good. Then in India, I really got very inspired by some of my bosses at Mint, like Mihir, Dalal, Shonak Mitra, and yeah, so
Wow. The best piece of advice ever received.
that just keep working. Sab ho jayega. Just keep doing it. I'm also more of a person who likes to work and learn on the go. So for me, that is the best advice. Yeah.
Wow. Coffee fueled writing or chai powered thinking.
I'm a coffee person, so
You're the coffee show.
Yeah, chai. Yeah,
Your favorite movie.
currently, I recently watched this movie called Mahanati. It was amazing. It's a Telugu film. I think everybody should watch it.
What is it about?
It's
Because
about it's about this actress called Savitri in the Telugu and Tamil film industry, who was one of the highest paid in the 1950s and the 60s, and it's a biopic, but the way it's presented is very different from most biopics I've seen in India, in mainstream at least. Yeah.
So you did well, and here's a gift.
Oh, thank you. What is this gift?
So it has been autographed. From niches to riches, the importance of choosing a niche for your business.
Okay.
It's about niche marketing.
Hmm.
So I've autographed it.
Okay.
So friends, it was a lovely conversation having with Prasannata Patwa, now an independent journalist, reporter, as she has rightly said, right? Journalist writing is all about craft. So all those young journalists who want to enter this field or want to become journalist as a career, watch this episode where she will take you to the process of how she had earlier worked in different newspapers, the Mint, and so many other papers, and now she is focusing on to build a career as an independent journalist, reporter. The nuance and everything that will help you, and her personal interest if she wants to spend more time at Dharamshala. So this is what our coffee speakers bring to the table, where they enjoy their work and also follow their heart where they want to go, spend time, and uh, have fun also. So subscribe to the Coffee Corner Show where there are 450 plus episodes by different coffee speakers. Watch them, get inspired from their journey. And if you want to be featured at the Coffee Corner Show, visit our website, the Emerging India Forum, or our LinkedIn page. And you can also connect with any coffee speakers to get them to refer to our team, and we would have coffee conversation. So in person or on Zoom. We have gone international also. So there are many more exciting things. This is the 5th anniversary. So look forward to more exciting things happening at the Coffee Constant Show. Thank you.